Hello, 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 and welcome back to another vlog. This vlog probably looks and sounds a lot different. I am filming on my laptop because my phone was stolen. I got a little too comfortable charging it at the laundromat, and so before I get any further into that, um, happy Halloween, happy All Saints Day, happy Day of the Dead, happy whatever it is that you believe and see and appreciate in this time of the year. It is October 30, just last night was October 31st, and today is the 1st of November. The moon is in Taurus today, I believe. And it's been a very scorpionic Plutonian time this past weekend, and I wonder if you're feeling that, and if you are, how that's manifesting for you. For me, I've been for weeks now, leading up to this time, really digging into my altar and having dialogue with the spirits through my tarot cards. And I recently started this. Yes, this video is unedited, and I'm just going to be talking. It's part of me learning to open up my throat chakra and to express in this way. And so sometimes it may be very easy to listen to, and other times I may trip over my words, and that's okay. Today is an unedited vlog day because I would like to do more vlogs, but I want to do more vlogs with a nicer camera. And then the fact that my iPhone just got stolen, and I decided to really commit to my New Year's resolution this year, which was almost a year ago, to return to a flip phone, has me the necessity is to get a nicer camera. And so just a lot of stuff is changing for me and coming up, and I'm making some decisions on how I want to change my lifestyle. I'm considering putting massage down for a while and starting a travel vlog. So if you have any interest in that, then this channel may be for you. And it's the title of this vlog really speaks to my decision to make this change, career change, lifestyle change, because it's something that I really know and understand in a certain way, that I think is really special, and definitely one of my strong points or fortes, if you will. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. I am currently in Los Angeles next to the ocean, and I've been in LA for about 5 months, 6 months maybe. And I was working at a yoga studio, and then the owner of the studio sexually harassed me about 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Actually, it was October 1st, so that was a whole month ago. Time is flying, but it was a month ago. I didn't speak on it on my channel yet, and it's something that I don't really have much to say other than I was disrespected, and instead of honoring me a meeting to be able to sit down and speak on my experience and speak on my truth, and write a statement and make it all official and documented, I was terminated. I was fired. And y'all, if you've been watching my vlogs, know how much I loved working there and how much I really aligned with just the job, working at in a space where I was helping people feel good, and like I'm really experienced at this kind of work, like cleaning and organizing, and so it was something that I was really excelling at, I thought, and shining at, I thought. And yeah, then I had this experience with this person who just really leads, and in my experience with him, leads by fear and by threat. And that was already an uncomfortable dynamic of the job, but then when it got physical and personal with me, I just knew that that was not right, and that I needed to like figure out the next steps of what I was going to do about it. And I wasn't allowed to sit down and actually have that meeting, and talk about it with the people there, besides my coworkers, who for the most part have pretty much just gone cold and cricket. So I don't know, it's just like really upsetting, and I've processed it mostly over this past month. And it's just reminded me, along with other things, certain things that happened in my other work, with management and ownership, being just blatantly lied to, and then finding out of like a falsity through the client, and just being in a weird spot where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was told differently, and I was lied to by the people in ownership. Like, just not good. It just doesn't feel good. And I guess I'm really quickly was exposed to these kinds of dynamics here in LA, and it's like sad to see that my coworkers are working in a state of fear, and guilt, and yeah, that's nothing I want to be a part of. um So that being said, I did put in my 2 weeks at the spa, and yeah, I'm about to make some changes and shift. But the whole point of coming on and making this video today, unedited, is just to remind you, anyone out there, you that relates to what I'm saying right now, that if you feel uncomfortable in a situation, and if you're realizing that certain dynamics are no longer for you, then it's okay to make that move and make that change. And for me, I think ever since I was very young, and possibly because I was adopted, like I've always been searching for home and been on the move. And I mean, I can even down to like the defining moment when I left like my childhood home, my brother stepping in front of me to defend me, and him getting a bloody nose, and everyone freaking out, and me like just straight going to like, okay, pack my suitcase, drag it out in the snow, walk, figure it out. And I think ever since that moment, that defining moment in my life, I have been able to know, okay, at the end of the day, I can rely on myself. And so my self-reliance is very high. And this is something I've studied about children whose parents passed at a young age, or children who were taken from their parents and passed around from home to home at a young age. It's like these people, aka me, we have experienced like the same amount of loss, or if not more loss, than a person who didn't go through those kind of circumstances when they were a child. And so all throughout their life, they will experience, the people that didn't go through that will experience that amount of loss, but over like their whole period of life, if that makes sense. Again, opening the throat chakra. But basically, if you were adopted, or if you went through some kind of like sudden and massive change in your primary care providers when you're a kid, then you are going to be more then you were exposed to more like the same amount of loss that a person would normally experience over their lifetime. Um, and so, yeah, that's just like always kind of, I think, left an impression on me and has like defined the way that I move in this world. And I'm starting to realize that, like, okay, if I love working for myself, which I do, and if I'm great at like starting things and being entrepreneurial, which I am, I always have put my art first, then and I love to move around and travel, then why don't I just do a travel vlog, right? And so these are the things, these are the downloads that are coming to me today. And during this time, the veil is very thin. So if you are, if this resonates with you and you've had a similar life experience where your family is just not really there, you don't really have like a strong sense of family or a strong sense of home, then now is a great time to like speak to the spirits and find some guidance and find some answers in that kind of conversation. And I can attest, like, this happens to me often, where I'll be, speaking and spelling and making that religion or liaison, that reconnection to myself, and all that came before me. And when I'm doing that, I do get signs, and I get very tangible signs. And of course, there's the spirit guides and there's the animal guides, and I have certain animals that come and visit me, and that kind of thing. But anyway, yesterday when I came out to the beach, and I was very in my moon day vibe, shadow self, yin, taking in the wind and doing my meditation and my stretching. I also came with my crystals and stones, and I placed them out in the sun with the card of the week. Well, I pulled 3 to 4 cards a week, but with the card of the week that I was on, that particular yesterday part of the week, and that card was laid out with my crystals, and I noticed that I had, my rose quartz representing fire, or representing the ether, love, everything, ether, rose quartz. Then I had my pure crystal quartz, clear quartz, that amplifies, like, communication, Mercury. So I had my wind, and then I, have my one stone that was given to me, and it always brings me back to the ocean, to the sea, to the waters. And so I had my water, and I have a garnet that is very, very heavy, and that there was my earth. And I'm looking at them, and I'm realizing, oh, but there's no fire. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking this, but there's no fire. And I just kind of, I say that to myself, but there's no fire. And, I've been asking for signs and guidance a lot these past 3 days. And when I said that there is no fire, moments later, wrapped up, kissed the earth, everything packed up, and I'm moving out of this space. And just 3 steps in, maybe even 2, I look down and I find, let's see if I brought it with me. I find, well, this is the card expansion, but I find, and this is how you know that you always, no matter if you feel like you don't have family or you don't feel like you have a solid home, like, there were thousands of yous that came before yous. And they're speaking to us, speaking with us all the time, especially if we initiate conversation. They will talk back, you know. And so this is what I found. Just steps, moments, seconds after I packed up, and there was not another red stone or rock anywhere in sight. And you can't mistake this for any other color. I mean, this is screaming a red rock, you know? And so, yeah, I guess I just wanted to mention that this kind of connection to me is very important and very powerful and very meaningful to me. And I know if you're watching this and you have a spiritual side that you connect with, no matter what you call it or whatever that looks or smells or feels feels like to you, you have that kind of liaison, then yeah, I know that you get it, and even when we get it, sometimes we forget that it's there, or we forget that we can trust it. And this is just maybe one of a hundred and something experiences that has happened to me in this lifetime so far, where it's like, okay, you speak and they speak back, you know. And so, yeah, I've never gone through any kind of legal process, but my friend was like, oh, you definitely need to go through with a legal process, you know, and table, she kept saying, table your documents, all the texts and emails, because you were retaliated against. And it's true, I was. And just the levels of aggression and manipulation and lying here and just anxiety in this city is just so high, and I don't want anything to do with it. And I'm so thankful for my flip phone, and I'm so thankful for the spirit speaking, and I'm so thankful for, you know, this whole time here to be able to remember what it is that matters to me, you know. And what matters to me, honestly, for my happiness, and I know we're all different, but my happiness really lies with the health of the planet. And here my carbon footprint has been much higher than any other time in my life, and it's been out of convenience that I grab a little bit here, a little bit of plastic there, a little bit of plastic there, and I don't want to live that way anymore. And I haven't really been super honest with myself and saying, hey, look, you're fucking up, you're not being as green and clean as you know that you have been or can be or want to be. And so, yeah, I think that a lot of people stay in a situation for a long time, even though they're unhappy, they're stressed, they're uncomfortable beyond, you know, oh, this is what it takes to be comfortable. And I don't want to live like that. And I never really have. And that's why, like, I do move and I do go with the flow and I do drop into these different frequencies. And ultimately, that's what, you know, that's what growth is, and that's what evolving is. And so I'm ready for this next chapter, and honestly, I want to take you with me, and I want to show you where it is I go and what it is that I find, and whether this channel turns into like a travel channel, or this channel turns into like a farm homestead kind of channel. All I know is that, you know, I'm not going to give up on myself, and that I have been investing in myself this whole time, and just like in this process. And So while it's like only just a, a fraction of me, and you only get to see, a certain side of me on this screen, it also has a lot of potential, and it could become a place for a higher purpose. And so I don't know. I just know that I shouldn't shy away from it. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing more talking on this channel, really opening up my throat chakra. I'm trying to hold on to some coins so that, wherever I go next, I'm not completely roughing it. So I might have to start, editing my own videos again. And so, yeah, click like and subscribe if you're down for the roller coaster or whatever comes up next on here. But any and all ways, I'm really thankful for this process, and I can see how vlogging and how YouTube in general is just like very therapeutic and very very like soul opening and self-awareness opening, and I'm super down for that. So yeah, I was a little nervous to come on and do a full-length unedited again, and but also, like, ultimately, who fucking cares? Like, a lot of people won't see this, and the people who do see it, if you've made it to this point, then that's amazing. And leave a comment down below with the magic word jewels. But yeah, I basically just want to remind you that you're not alone, that the spirits are always talking, whatever you want to call it, spirits, ghosts, ancestors, the ether, what is it, that book they call it, the the books in the sky, whatever you want to call it, that energy is always there, and it's always a place that we can tap into. And I want to be more connected to that energy each and every day. And I'll tell you what, even in the past, less than 24 hours that 48 hours that I haven't had an iPhone, a smartphone, ooh, I feel better. It's like this wholeness that dips down into this part of my body. It's not just heady. It's a whole awareness right here that feels warm and feels whole and feels connected. And it's not up here, frantic, clicking, scrunchy neck, looking at a phone. And so I'm so thankful for that, and if me coming on here reminds someone else that they actually want to make that lifestyle change and try it out and live this way on this vibration for a while, more power to you. Like, where are we gonna go and farm and garden and be safe and quiet and still and aware? Because baby, it's not out here. It's really not out here. Even the most like connected, realigned, remembered person being out here, just from my experience as a healer, it's draining. You get paid. I'm paid less, 50% less than I was paid in Louisiana, working for another person. That doesn't make sense, especially when services are more expensive out here and your clientele can afford, so much more. That's for a whole nother story, but it's just like when you hit that knowing and when it's just not worth it to you, to have the anxiety, to be caught up. And honestly, I feel like no one's really speaking on replenishing, and recharging. And when, as a healer, you learn to get really good at replenishing and recharging yourself, because you get more familiar with the ebb and the flow of energy. And yet I don't want to have to keep recharging myself. I'm tired of doing that. And more power to the people that can come out into these densely populated, heavily full of distraction and noise and chaos and radiation areas and do what they do. But it's draining. It's very draining, and beyond draining, it's what's the word? It's just, it doesn't align. It just doesn't align with me. I've been serving for so long. I have served. And I guess LA just reminded me that, like, I don't want to keep serving privileged white people. I don't. I know we all have privileges. I have privileges, even. All of us have privileges in some way, shape, or form. But there's just a particular flavor of privilege here that I don't want to serve any longer. I want to be served. I want to be served. And yeah, so I don't know what work even looks like for me moving forward besides being remote. Remote, so that I have the freedom to travel and to move around and to do this, remote. I've been watching all the videos, data entry, call center rep, virtual assistant, customer care, like. So I'm just gonna try my hand at something like that, where we're always gonna be in service, but I think that because I have high integrity and honesty, and I really value this connection in a way that maybe those around me aren't valuing in the same way, it makes me want to keep that separate somewhat from how I make the income that supports me. And it would be a blessing. My last client, last day that I worked, she was amazing. She was great. Our energy just, it was reciprocated. There was a healthy exchange flow going on there. And I asked her, I said, oh, okay, so what have you been doing? Like, what do you do? What have you been doing? And she said, I work at the intersection of environment and entertainment. And I thought, oh, and something about the way that she said it, and then the way she was like, I would love to book with you again on Friday, just that knowing and that relating that happened between us. It felt like that was a moment again where the spirits were speaking and telling me, like, hey, you love the environment, you love fangirling and being in entertainment, specifically music, so how could I travel and connect those two worlds together and find peace? So there's always options. And again, if you're in a similar situation like me, where you've been doing putting yourself for, I mean, your art first, and yeah, I guess in some sense putting your creative self first, um, and serving others to support that, creation and self being, and you feel broken in the service, um, and burnt out in the service, then it's okay to try something new. And hey, maybe my channel will just really spiral out of control and things will be awful. Or I could look at this type of expansion and remember that a lot of great things happen outside of our comfort zone. And that if you have had a history of traveling at your own accord, at the accord of someone else, just having a finger on that pulse of movement, then how can you use that as one of your strengths to support and elevate a career or lifestyle change? And I guess that's the big question in my personal life right now. So yeah, and like, I'm happy that my friend was like so supportive in that sense of being like, you know what, you need to get all your shit together, get your documents, get your emails, get your texts, and for the record, like, really put this out there. And it's uncomfortable, like, I don't know, it's uncomfortable, like the aftermath of like these people who I thought I was bonding with and having like growing relationships with just go blank and ghost on me. You know, and I don't know, I hate to make it a racial thing because we're all the same on the inside physically, but both companies are owned by white men who were just toxic, you know? Don't touch me. Just don't touch me. How about that? Just don't even touch me, and let alone touch my butt. Just don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Why do you have to lie to me? I just don't want anything to do with that energy and that vibration. And I think, you know, we all experience this no matter where we go. No place is free of it. But yeah, this was like the first time I really seen it for what it is as it relates to like my own personal value. And I would be a fool to continue supporting energies that at the end of the day aren't really there for me and for my value and what I'm worth. So yeah, so that's today's video, this week's vlog. I guess you could call it, you know, a sit down, a heart to heart, some real talk. I just had to say these things out loud on this platform as a way to move forward. And Mars just went retrograde in a house of mine that's, I believe it's the 10th house, it's career matters. And so, yeah, these next few months are going to be very interesting as I'm kind of in the dark with as far as like action oriented energy goes. Um, so yeah, I'm deciding to go to an island. I'm deciding to go to an island and work on a farm. And I'm going to take you with me. And I think this will be a really beautiful start to potential travel vlogging or to any kind of farm homestead material that I am wanting to manifest in my life right now. Um, because honestly, like, I want to have kids someday, and like, I want my kids to be knowing the plants and the animals around them and like having their hands in the dirt and speaking with the like, I don't really want my kids to be growing up in a densely populated area staring at iPhones. And I just got really real with myself on that the other day too. It's like, I need to start thinking more long term and placing myself in situations that I see like positive and beneficial to like my future children. And I want them to grow up just like really knowing the natural part of life. And I think that the further and further we get down this like doomsday hole of the planet fucking falling apart to its last seam, at some point when the trumpets are blowing, we will really then begin to value people who have that strong connection to the planet. Because if we're going to want to stay on this planet or revitalize this planet or even be able to live on this planet, we're going to have different skill set than what is happening now. And yeah, I want personally to have that skill set, and I want my children to have that skill set, because that will be highly valuable in the future, and I know this. And what better would it be for them to be able to have a combination of the both worlds, like being able to have their hands in the dirt while also being connected to remote technologies. And so yeah, that is the answer for me. And I don't really know how to create that life for myself yet, but I know that everything I've been through and everything I've done up to this point is like formed me into a capable being to handle it. So it's gonna be exciting to see how this all unfolds. And again, like, I don't know what the content on this channel is gonna be like moving forward. I could be editing it myself, and it could be a little rocky for a while and interesting. I could be continue to have my footage edited and have like a nicer camera, or I might be on this MacBook for a few weeks. I have no idea, but what's important to me is that I keep posting and keep showing up. And yeah, I am so thankful for those of you that have been hitting the like button and those of you who have subscribed. And yeah, that's really supportive, because even time is always passing, right? Like, time is a ticking. So it doesn't really matter, honestly, when or what I post, just as long as I'm consistent and you like giving away a second of your life to click a button that helps the algorithm put my videos out more, just increases the likeliness of me to be able to attract people who need to see me and need to hear me, or want to see me and want to hear me. And I vice versa, being able to begin dialogue with other people that maybe are feeling the same way. And yeah, and just don't want to be a rat zombie sheep anymore. I don't want to be a rat zombie sheep. And I've dabbled for so long in the not being a rat zombie sheep, and then I think that, like, for me, I just have to go like all in one way, and figure out how to create an existence that supports the life that I literally want to support. So yeah, lots of stuff coming through, y'all, and it is November 1st. Mars is retrograde. However, I'm feeling good about November. I'm feeling good about, like, if you're making any changes in your life right now, I don't know, collectively, I'm feeling like at first they might feel a little uncomfortable, or maybe this past month it was a lot to accept and take in, but these changes are, like, there for you. Life is here for you, and even in the downs and in the uncomfortable in-betweens. And trust your heart, continue speaking with, and I will see you next week.